Hey everyone, it's Molly. Today we're going to make an easy peanut butter soup recipe. Like always, the recipe will be available for you down below in the description box, so let's get started.
Okay, so I'm going to heat up the milk, peanut butter, onion, salt, and a dash of paprika and pepper. And we're just going to get this nice and hot. The recipe originally said to do this in a double boiler, but I'm a little impatient and I'm just going to do it on the stove. If you do it on the stove, directly over the stove like what I'm doing, just make sure you keep an eye on it so the milk doesn't burn. So we're just going to get this nice and hot and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and strain this milk mixture, and I'm going to reuse this pot after I rinse it out and dry it. I don't want to create more dishes than I already have to. Okay, so I'm just going to melt this butter back in the pot and with a whisk, and then I'm going to add the flour to this, whisking the whole while. We're just going to make a smooth paste. And then we're going to add our milk mixture to this gradually, whisking it in. And then we're going to get this nice and hot, and then we will see what it tastes like. And you just want to cook this until it has thickened somewhat.
Interesting. So this is not what I was expecting peanut butter soup to taste like. I mean, it tastes like peanut butter, but it's very milky.
It reminds me of just straight warm milk, like my grandma used to get me to put me to sleep.
Yeah. So I think the flavor of this would be largely dependent on the type of peanut butter you use. I used this Adams brand 100% natural creamy unsalted peanut butter because I just wanted peanut flavor. I didn't want the sugar and the recipe called for salt, so I didn't want it to be too salty. So this is what I used. So I think it's really going to be dependent upon what peanut butter you use. Now, this was thickened, but it only was with 1 tablespoon of flour mixed with a tablespoon of butter. I think I would have liked a thicker peanut butter soup. So I think I would maybe do 2 tablespoons of butter to 2 tablespoons of flour to thicken this up a little bit more. It's a little too thin for me. This recipe comes from this book, The Good Housekeeping Cookbook, and this is from 1933. So this is a Depression era recipe. This recipe serves 6. Yeah, so peanut butter was really cheap back then. I mean, it's always kind of been a cheap ingredient. So it's not surprising that they made a soup out of it. And I like that it has the paprika in it. I think this would be really good with more paprika, maybe a little bit spicier. But it's really good.
There's nothing to it though. Like,
what were you expecting?
I don't know, but
I was expecting a more pronounced peanut butter flavor.
Normally when I eat soup, I think of like vegetables and meat and not like
You don't like it.
Liquid. I'm not on a liquid diet here.
Well, so Dan's not a fan of this because this doesn't really fall underneath his definition of soup.
Well, it's not very filling for me.
Yeah, well, it's.
I mean, it tastes good though.
It tastes great.
It tastes like peanut butter milk.
Yeah, that's basically it. I think that I would increase the pepper and paprika, and I would increase the butter and flour to make this a little bit thicker. And maybe even some more peanut butter to get a more peanut butter flavor. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a really good base recipe that you could expand on. because you could add really whatever you want to this. You could, once it's a little bit thicker, I would put maybe some crushed peanuts on top and, you know, serve
Yeah.
it that way. The
I wonder
recipe,
what that would taste like with like maybe noodles.
I don't know, that might be kind of weird.
No,
Yeah, I don't know what you would put in this.
Yeah, I mean it's peanut butter soup.
I know
so-
that there's a lot of soup recipes. I've had peanut butter soup before that had, it wasn't like this, but it had like chicken in it and some spices. I'm not sure, I don't recall what it had in it, but it had things in it. And I know that there are recipes like that, but I mean, you got to think about the time frame we're dealing with here, Depression era. And it's a good soup. It tastes good. It's just, for me, I would like it to be just a little bit thicker. And I think more paprika and more pepper.
There's not really much to it.
Yeah, it's very simple.
So
If you want a simple, easy peanut butter soup recipe that you can expand on and make your own, then this would be a good recipe for that. But it's going to be just dependent upon what type of peanut butter you use. So if you use one with sugar on it, yeah, I can't imagine using a peanut butter with sugar.
no.
It would be sweet. That would be kind of strange, I think. So peanut butter soup from 1933. Who knew that it'd be thin and weird? That's what I say.
That's a good one.
It's very simple. It's a good soup to start out with and make your own. I recommend making it a little bit thicker, but some people might like the thinner consistency. Well, if you like this recipe and you want to see more vintage recipes, then please subscribe and hit the like button. Dan and I are always taste testing vintage recipes, and I upload every Wednesday. And we hope to see you in the next video.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.